Hello, here's the story for today. Sandra runs a small business in Oregon, manufacturing dressings and sauces. About a year ago, someone in her network told her that she really needed a business continuity plan. So she did what most of us do when we want to learn something new. She searched online, found a template, and downloaded it. Opened it and 40 pages. Section headers like IT Disaster Recovery Governance Committee and Alternate Site Acquisition Protocol. There was a color-coded risk matrix that required a legend to read. There were signature blocks for people with titles her company didn't have. She closed it. Told herself she'd come back to it when she had more time. She never did. 6 months later, her production lead, the person who knew every recipe adjustment and every supplier contact, had a family emergency and was out for 3 weeks. Without warning. So there was no handoff, no documentation. Sandra was on the floor herself, calling suppliers she'd never spoken to directly, trying to remember details that existed only in one person's head. That's what today's episode is about. Welcome to the Green Ledger, Tips for a Sustainable Small Business. I'm Anka, founder of 3P Impact Consulting. This season, we're answering your questions about building resilient, responsible businesses. Each episode tackles one question with practical, actionable answers you can use right away. Let's dive in. Today's question is, I want to create a business continuity plan, but every template I find is 40 pages long and written for corporations. How do I create one that fits my needs? You don't need a 40 pages plan. You need a few pages with the right sections, enough to give you a solid, usable framework. And I'll show you exactly how to create one that is just perfect for you. It will have 5 sections. Think of these 5 sections as your floor. Every section should have at least a paragraph or 2. Together, they give you a few solid, usable pages. You can add more sections if your business needs, but at a minimum, you need these 5. Section 1 is the business snapshot. This is one paragraph on what your business does and what staying operational, quotes, means for you. If a disruption happens and someone else needs to step in, a trusted employee, a family member, even you after a night of no sleep, this snapshot tells them what matters most and why. For Sandra, that might be, we produce dressings and sauces sold through 12 retail partners and our online store. Staying operational means we can fulfill retail orders on time and keep our online shop running. A delay of more than 5 business days would trigger penalties with 2 of our retail partners. Section 2 is critical functions. List the 3 to 5 things that absolutely have to keep running for you to stay in business. The ones that, if disrupted, stop revenue or seriously damage customer relationships. For a small manufacturer, this is usually something like production, order fulfillment, supplier communication, and customer-facing communication. That's it, 4 functions. If these 4 keep running at some level, you're still in business. If you've already done the business impact analysis from episode 2 in season 1, this section is mostly done. You just bring it here from there. Section 3 is top risks per function. For each critical function, name the one disruption most likely to knock you out. Just one per function to start. Don't try to list every possible scenario. Focus on what's most likely and most damaging. If you've done the hit risk map from episode 3 in season 1, pull from that. If you haven't, now is a good time to start. For each function, ask, what's the one thing that would most likely take us out? For production, that might be equipment failure or co-manufacturer shutdown. For order fulfillment, it might be a key employee being out. For supplier communication, it might be a supplier going dark without notice again. Episode 14 covers this in detail if you haven't listened to it yet. Section 4 is response steps. For each risk you identified in section 3, write down what you do, who does it, and who is a backup if that person is not available. This doesn't need to be a flowchart or a decision tree. Clear, plain language steps are more useful under pressure than a complex diagram. Think, what would you tell someone at 7 a.m. on a Monday when things have just gone sideways? Write that down. For example, if our co-manufacturer goes down, step 1 is to check current inventory levels. Step 2 is to call our backup manufacturer, contact info in section 5. Step 3 is to notify top 3 retail partners by phone. Templates for those calls are also in section 5. Simple, actionable, easy to use. And section 5 is key contacts. Names, phone numbers, and backup contacts for everyone who matters in this disruption. Suppliers, employees, key customers, your IT support if you have one. It must exist in printed form, stored somewhere accessible when your system is down. Because if your computers are down, and we talked about this in episode 5 on cybersecurity, your digital plan isn't much help. Print it. Keep a copy in the office, one at home, and ideally one with a trusted employee. Updated every time something changes. A list with the wrong phone number won't help you when you need it, right? Now, once your 5 core sections are solid, these are the most valuable additions, and I add them roughly in this order. First, a communication plan. Who you notify, in what order, through what channel, with what message. And include message templates so you're not writing from scratch during a crisis. Your customers will appreciate the heads up. What they won't appreciate is finding out on the day something was supposed to arrive and is not arriving. And we covered this in depth in episode 2. Second edition, roles and responsibilities. Who owns what during a disruption? With at least one named backup for every critical role. This is not a full org chart. This is just decision-making map for when things go wrong. If you're the owner and something happens to you, who runs this? Is that written down somewhere? Third edition, alternate resources. Backup suppliers, backup equipment sources, temporary space options. You don't need contracts with all of them. With some, you just need to know they exist and have a general sense of what would look like working with that company. Episode 14 is a good example of why this matters. For others, though, it's a good idea to establish at least a relationship. So when you need them, you don't start from zero. Beyond these 3, other sections you might add as your plan matures: a financial contingency section covering your emergency fund, credit line access, and insurance summary. A recovery priorities section for when multiple things fail at once, and a post-incident review template. A short list of questions to answer after any disruption, so the plan gets better over time. None of these are required on day 1, but they're worth knowing they exist so you can build toward them. Your business continuity plan is only useful if it's current and accessible. That means reviewing it at least every quarter. Even if it's just for 15 minutes, check and make sure it contains everything you need and it's accurate and nothing major has changed. Put it on your calendar right now. Quarter review, 15 minutes. The most common pitfall I see is waiting until the plan feels complete before considering it done. Your business continuity plan is done when it covers your 5 minimum sections. Everything else is version 2. A simple finished plan beats a comprehensive plan that never gets finished. So this week's action items for you. Just 3. 1. Write your business snapshot. 1 paragraph on what your business does and what staying operational means for you specifically. It takes 10 minutes and it grounds everything else. 2. List your top 3 critical functions, the ones that you must keep running for you to stay in business. And 3, for each function, name the one disruption that worries you most. That's the start of section 3. So you're already halfway through the hardest thing. This is your first draft taking shape. You can do this in under 30 minutes, and it's indefinitely more useful than a 40-page document sitting on your desktop somewhere. So to recap, you do not need a 40-page template. You need 5 sections. Business snapshot, what your business does and what staying operational means. Critical functions, so list 3 to 5 that must keep running. Then top risks per function, what's most likely to disrupt for each one. Then response steps, what you do, who does it, and who's the backup. And then lastly, key contacts, printed, accessible, and up to date. When you're ready to go further, add a communication plan, a roles and responsibilities section, and alternate resources. Those 3 will cover most of what makes a disruption manageable versus chaotic. Start simple, start now, and build from there. So that was the answer for today. Let's see, for next episode, we're answering a question about supplier relationships, one that I hear in different versions almost weekly, and one that doesn't have a simple yes or no answer. So if you ever had a supplier who keeps letting you down and you weren't sure whether to give them another chance or start looking for someone new, you'll want to tune in. It goes live on June 1st. That's the plan. Thanks for listening to the Green Ledger. If today's episode sparked a question for you, send it to me. My email is in the show notes. That's how this season works. Your question could become the next episode. If you found this episode helpful, share it with another small business owner who's been staring at a 40-page template and doing nothing. Until next time, small steps lead to big impact, and resilience isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. Bye.